213. Sports and plus. Plus means everything else in life, but one of our main focuses is going to be sports. Um, and what would some call is not a sport, NASCAR today, the Cup Series. We had the Championship 4 race. This is NASCAR's version of their Super Bowl, but the Super Bowl is really Daytona 500, which is the first race of the year. Storyline is this is Kevin Harvick's final race for what we know to be he's done with full time. I assume somewhere down the line he's going to want to get back in the car and race maybe a race or two here. But this is his final full time race on a team, full fledged. He's going to the booth next year, I believe, for Fox Sports. So we haven't seen the last of Kevin Harvick. Our championship 4, we had Blaney, Bell, Larson, and Byron. Race started off good. Stage 1, we had Byron winning the stage, which this is something that I don't like about the playoffs, especially the last race. Let me just rephrase that. This is something I don't like about the last race. It's just whoever finishes ahead of everyone else in the championship 4. So why even have stages? If you're going to have stages in this last race, let's give points out to the championship 4. So that way they can build towards the end of the race. That way it makes it more interesting. Like, okay, the person out front isn't necessarily going to the championship, and they didn't necessarily have the better race throughout. Sometimes red happens, cautions happen. There's just things that play into somebody winning the race. Stage points matter, all the other, but then the championship race is like, forget stage points. Let's just whoever finishes ahead of the championship 4. I think that would bring a lot more drama to this race. It would sometimes, let's say Blaney got spun out in stage 2, but he had stage 1 points. And now he's fighting back, you got a lot of non-playoff drivers. There's only 4 playoff drivers in this race. And a lot can happen to those drivers. And as we, go through my notes here, we'll see one of them did have some bad luck today and was knocked out pretty early. But in stage 1, we have Byron for the win. Larson struggled. He started off the race, looking strong, but he just slowly worked his way back in positions. And Blaney and Bell both finished outside the top 10 in stage 1. So, if we had stage points in this final race, Byron and Larson would have had some stage points, and Blaney and Bell would not. The exciting part about stage 1 is Harvick in his final race looked like he was going to be, one of the 2 cars to beat. Coming in stage 2, Bell wrecks due to problems. His problem was his rotor overheated. His rotor shattered. And the guys, and some of the commentators are like, well, he's driving the brakes too hard. He overheated the rotor. Well, I think there's something maybe wrong with the cooling. I understand, like, his crew was like, there's nothing more we can do. The hose is completely open. Maybe there was something wrong with the hose. Maybe it was kinked somewhere. Maybe there was a hole in it and, air escaping somewhere else. It's real odd to see how close these cars are pretty much identical all the way through. And people have a problem like that. All the other cars have the exact same setup on brakes, other than I think you can run different pads. So he has a wreck. He goes in the wall. His rotor shatters. Can't replace that. He's done. Bell is only 3 of 4 left. Harvick is still showing strength, halfway through this stage. And Chastain just seems to be the guy that's going to beat all of a sudden. He led most of the laps in the stage. 3 of the 4 champions left. They bunched together, finished in the stage in the mid-top 10. Byron's really strong at this point in the short run, but as long run goes, he fades back. Blaney is fading his strength in the long run, And then Buescher, he comes out of nowhere, flies up at the end of stage 2, and he takes the win in stage 2. So coming out of the pits, Blaney is further back than what he was, but on lap 211, Blaney takes back the lead, not the race lead, but the championship 4 lead from William Byron on lap 211. Chastain's in the lead. He's the car to beat at this point. He's dialed in. His car's pointing right in the turn. He's got His throttle and his brake game are on check. He's just flying around this place. With 100 to go, we have P2, P3, and P5, Blaney, Byron, Larson in that order. And we're heading towards the green flag pit stops. This is where things get interesting. Larson and Byron pit first on lap 241, and Blaney's like next lap he's in. You don't want them having any kind of run on new tires. New tires play a big role in Phoenix. Blaney, after the green flag pit style or cycle, Blaney is in second, but he's still leading the championship for. Chastain is in the lead. And then somewhere around 63 laps to go, Blaney catches Chastain. And like this whole race, they show Blaney inside the car. He's just emotional. He's tired of people being in front of him. If he gets around somebody, Blaney could have drove away. And I honestly believe that. He's racing so hard with Chastain. They're going at it that Truex comes into the mix for a few laps. And Blaney actually gets in the back of Chastain. Doesn't wreck him, but then Truex passes Blaney. Now it's like Blaney might have issues. This goes on for about 5-6 laps, and everyone's thinking this could be a big mistake for Blaney. You're racing too hard. You don't need to win this race. You just need to finish ahead of everyone else. You know, the other two drivers at this point, because Bell's out. Larson seems to have a nice car. Byron's fading, so we're not really worried about Byron at this point. Everyone knows that Byron is not in contention right now. It's just Larson and Blaney. But then 37 to go, caution comes out. And Larson has the pit crew. So everyone's expecting Larson to come out ahead, and he does. He wins the race off the pit road. It's a good restart. Blaney gets pinned. Larson gets out ahead. Byron's back there in the mix. But Blaney's car is just strong with 20 to go. Blaney comes back and takes the lead in Championship 4. He never catches Chastain. He raced pretty good with Larson there for a few laps. But like Larson was going to tag around the back bumper, and it was going to be an interesting race for the championship to the end. But Blaney just drove away from Larson. So in the end, we have Blaney win the championship, which is growing up. I watched Dave Blaney, which I believe is his father. So to see a Blaney win the championship for me was pretty cool. I always rooted for Dave Blaney growing up. He was one of those like midfield to rear drivers. He never really finished up top. Harvick in his final full-time race finished 7th. Ross Chastain wins dominant fashion. I would say he's one of my favorites going into next year. Watching the end of this year, and his interview showed he's passionate about continuing this run, and next year he's going to carry it in. I think next year he's going to be someone that's going to be in contention. With that, it's been a good day of sports. We've had Formula One was all right. The Cowboys and Eagles game we just finished up. Cowboys is my team, so that's as much NFL as you're going to get from me. They lost by 5 to the Eagles. Very tense game at the end. My wife was even like, "Oh man, that was stressful." Especially, here's Caden. Come sit down, Caden. This is the guy that you'll see a lot of videos. It's K13_GG. Correct? Okay. So tonight we're going to have another video for you. We're going to talk about the Final Four of Big Brother. That's going to be a real short video. It's not much to talk about. We just started this up, about 2 days ago? Was it yesterday?
It was yesterday.
Yesterday we started.
Yesterday night. Because we did Crown Jewel.
Yeah, we did Crown Jewel.
The Crown Jewel yesterday night.
So so later on tonight, after Big Brother, we're going to talk about Big Brother. Be a short show. Just really nothing left to do besides 3 more episodes of Big Brother. Other than that, thanks for hanging out with us. This is K13. I'm G13.
See you guys.
We'll see you here in a little bit once Big Brother's over. Thanks for tuning in.